Hey man, welcome back to another edition of Everything Football. I'm your host again, Jonathan Big Tex Johnson, aka Uncle Tex, aka Professor Tex. As we well seen, that Matt Ryan, the Iceman, got traded to that of the Indianapolis Colts, which I look at as a good pick. I was kind of thinking that old boy was my man Sean Watson probably was going to go there. But he ended up going to the Browns and whatnot, and got a real nice quarterback with a nice running back and a nice defense and some decent wide receivers. If it's not for they was scary, but when my man what's his name? Carson Wentz didn't represent the way he was supposed to represent. As you would hear, Jim Irsay had something to say this past week about the situation. And I get what he's saying, and he has some validity to that, whether you want to agree with it or not. They could have done a lot in that particular. They would have been scary to see in the playoffs, but they didn't. Of course, obviously, they didn't. They didn't make the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, and whatnot. So it's like, so when you start breaking all of that stuff there down, they didn't do what they were supposed to have done. In there and whatnot. And so it's like that's what ended up happening with them, and the Titans did what the Titans had to do. Going 12-5, and Indianapolis 9-8 after they had lost some games, and they was on a nice winning streak. Jonathan Taylor, forced to be reckoned with last year, best back in the league, and now you add Matty Ice to that. I never really said a lot about Matty Ice because he's always kind of been under the radar. Extremely solid, a very good quarterback. Has a resume. He has a Hall of Fame resume. I was going back and forth with that and whatnot, but he has a Hall of Fame resume. When you start really looking at it and whatnot, you're talking about someone that has played, 2008, 14, 15 years, and out of that he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He has about six winning seasons. Going to the playoffs half and half, more or less. His record is 120 and 102. Ironic how those numbers are kind of 102, 120. You can easily do it that way there. But he's the best quarterback that Atlanta Falcons franchise has ever had. He is a 4-time Pro Bowler, All-Pro, Offensive Player of the Year, MVP. Got his team to the Super Bowl. But see, I can't go for Atlanta no more. I've got my heart broken by Atlanta in a couple of in 2 times when I thought they were supposed to have done some things and just did not get her done. The epic game against them and the Cowboys back in 1980 when Drew Pearson broke their backs. Obviously, a Super Bowl that they were supposed to have won when they upped the amount of points they was up, and they let that game go by, and that triggered. And I've told you guys this before. So, dude, when you mess around and lose that Super Bowl and that hangover, especially when it's a game that you should have won because you checked all the boxes, you whooped their ass in every sense of the word. And you still come up just dumb plays, right? They go 10-6 the next season and it's downhill and everything. Go back and look at even down to Carolina with Cam when they went to Super Bowl the year before that when Cam did the same thing Matty Ice did. Matty Ice is a 4-time Pro Bowler, 1-time All-Pro, and he's put up some nice numbers and he's done some things. But really, if you go look at what the Atlanta Falcons have done since then. Right? 10-6, 7-9, 7-8, 4-12, 7-10. All losing seasons. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 years of straight losing, right? So they made the change or whatever like that because them guys never really got it back together. It's much like I said about the Seahawks, even though they didn't lose like that, but they wasn't the same squad. Even down to that of Carolina over in the NFC South, the Saints did what they did, but at the same time, Saints ain't never really do nothing either. They won the South, but they never really did anything. So I think people better watch the Colts. They're solid on defense, got the best running back on offense, solid wide receivers, and they're going to be something. They might be a force to be reckoned with. And I think the Matt Ryan trade for him going there was good, and I think they will be something. They're going to be something. They're going to be a force to be reckoned with over in the South. Remember, you heard it here first. If it happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't. But like I say, they may win the South. Because I've told you guys over in that particular conference that, like I said, I honestly think if they got Matt Ryan and Matt Ryan playing against Jacksonville last year, they beat the brakes off of them and they go in there and they scare some people and possibly get to the end at the AFC Championship game. They were that team that was scared if they could get in the playoffs after starting off kind of slow and whatnot. So, I see that happening. So we'll see what happens with this situation with Matty Ice, but I think that's a good pick. I still think he got about a good 3 years left, possibly playing at least 40, but I'm going to say that he's 39, a good 2 or 3 years left, and he can solidify himself as a bona fide Hall of Famer. Maybe not first ballot, but probably second ballot Hall of Famer and whatnot with Ice and whatnot. Like I said, 120 and 102 and 102. And I first heard about Ice back when he played at Boston College when they beat Miami. And when he got all the accolades and stuff like that, I said, man, who is this cat? Who is this Matty Ice? Who is this cat? You know what I'm saying? And like I said, being third overall pick in the 2008 draft. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be interesting to see what goes on with him. The funny thing about him, especially since after my last broadcast that I had, he's with his family and doing his thing, and I didn't hear Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady or Kirk Cousins or Baker Mayfield or Justin Herbert or them guys saying bad things about Ice and that he's a square. My peoples are funny, man. But this man here, so y'all got to watch out. Y'all better watch out. They got some studs on that team, and I think they can do some things, and they can be scary. And I think they might actually take the South. He might get them over the top and get them over in the game because he got some pieces around him, especially the defense. And that's the thing, man. If you got a defense, man, hey, man, shit. I mean, hell, they can shorten the field for you. Give you the ball numerous amounts of times and shorten the field for you and get you over there on playing on their side of the 50-yard line, man. And you ain't got to do all that, man. And you got to run it back a stud like Jonathan Taylor, man. Say, hey, man, like JT. It's like, hey, man, it's sky's the limit. Sky's the limit. They went 7-10. Ice threw for almost 4,000 yards, 20 touchdowns. He had 12 picks though. Still a relatively decent season, but the Atlanta hasn't been anything since after that Super Bowl. And it's just let you know that the Super Bowl hangover, especially if you lose in the fashion that they lost, it's hard to overcome, bro. It's seen a lot of changes. Quinn left and all them guys like that. It's a lot of changes that happened with them guys, man. Them guys just could not recapture that magic, and they blew it. I rooted for them. Only time I'm a Falcons fan, but I'm like, I thought they could have beat the Broncos, even though I thought they were supposed to have lost against the Vikings back in '98. Randy Moss, his first year in the league as a rookie. That Minnesota squad was stacked, but when they did what they did to them, I said, well, shit, they should be able to beat the Broncos, and it just didn't happen. Eugene Robinson issue and all that stuff like that, so that's a whole other thing there. But with Matty Ice going over to AFC South, That's a nice pickup. He got some pieces over there. He don't have to do everything. They can hand the ball off, and it's like, he's solid. He's solid, and he can solidify himself as a Hall of Famer with a good season, with a couple of good seasons, a couple of 10-11 game winning season, 10-7, 11-6 or something like that, or 12-5 or whatever like that. If he can mess around and pull that off there, He'll put himself nicely a couple of wins and whatnot with about 30 more wins in the next 3 years, man, and some playoff runs and some good stats that he's always put up, because he's always been solid. Like I say, about 6-7 winning seasons going in the playoffs, and they might be something. They might be a force to reckon with. So that was a good move with Irsay getting rid of Carson Wentz, which was kind of a diss. But again, I told y'all Carson Wentz was Jim Everett 2.0. I already told you guys that. So watch out for Ice and solidifying his career with the Indianapolis Colts. And yeah, I tell y'all all the time, like Barkowski, he is all right, but Barkowski wasn't all that, but he was all they had, because Atlanta was a horrible franchise for quite some time. He did a few things here and there, but his number will probably be retired and hanging up in the rafters somewhere and whatnot and all that. So it's a good fit for him. Shout out to Microphone. He had me sitting up there scanning the retinol yesterday. I said, what? I'm like, you telling me that they getting rid of Ice? I mean, wait a minute, man. I ain't here. So I started to scan. I said, this can't be true. And it was April Fool's joke. So shout out to Microphone, like his platform and everything like that. Shout out to Microphone. I dug that. That's pretty slick and whatnot. You get up and do some work together, man. Like what you kind of do, man. So, definitely like what you do. Ain't no kind of. I like what you do. So, it's pretty cool. But it's like, but yeah, so watch out for the Colts. Watch out for the Colts, because they have a solid, possibly future Hall of Fame quarterback. And he doesn't have to be Hall of Fame-ish. Just be solid, man. Just be what you've always been for your career. A very, very good quarterback, and just be solid in your latter years. And them Colts can go somewhere, because they do have some players over on their team. I tell you guys all the time, man. I say, you subscribe to the page. Smash that like button. Got any questions, leave them down there. We can go back and forth a little bit, man. We'll probably play with you, And I can tell you guys all the time, numbers don't lie, getting emotional people do. And I say all the time, there is no GOAT, there's no greatest of all time, as long as time's still going on. Guys, go ahead and have a good one. We talk with y'all later. Enjoy your Saturday.